Ladies and gentlemen, we are back with another episode of Convos with Cruger. Have a special guest today, and I know that I say that all the time, but for this one, I'm going to give kudos because he's an educator, he's a mentor, he has a mentoring program, and all around just a stand-up guy in the community, and it's Edrick Hamilton. How you doing today, brother?
All right, doing pretty good, sir.
All right, good. I'm glad that we finally can get together because we had to reschedule a couple of times.
Oh yeah, hey, that's busy life.
Yeah, I'm glad you made the way though, man. So everything good?
Yes, sir. Going pretty well.
All right, you ready to get into this?
Yes, sir.
All right, so tell me a little bit about yourself. Who is Edrick Hamilton?
Okay, well, I'm definitely a fine product of Bradford County. I'm born in Gainesville, Florida, but brought up in Stark and Lottie. I attended Lottie when it was community school, Lottie Community School. Left there, went to Bradford Middle, graduated from Bradford High in 2003. Then left from there, went to Santa Fe, started the one in Stark, and then graduated in 2006 from Santa Fe in Gainesville, the big campus. Then after that, went to Jacksonville University, got my bachelor's and master's in elementary education. I love sports. I'm definitely a big animal fan. I'm into kids, tons of animals. Even in my classroom, I use animals as a teaching the kids how to use responsibility and take care of things. And I love my family. Family is a big thing. I love Christ. Go to church every Sunday. Try to definitely keep that a part of who I am.
Mm-hmm. Now, speaking of animals, I always remember you by y'all dogs.
Yeah.
When y'all lived on the hill, man, we used to be terrified of those dogs.
Yeah. So my dad, he was the guy that had Rottweilers, and as a kid, since I can remember, that's what I was raised up with, Rottweilers, and we would have a minimum at 4 dogs. Sometimes, it's 8 to 10 dogs. My dad used to breed, he used to sell them. Then certain dogs we like, we just keep them, and they definitely protect the yard everywhere we go. It was just like, anybody come over company, as long as we're there, they're fine. But they definitely protect the yard, when you're not there. But we're definitely, and I still have dogs till this day. My dad still has Rotties. I think he has about 6 now. And I have 2 Rottweilers and 2 Pit Bulls.
Yeah, I tell you, I wouldn't even walk past y'all house.
Hey, a lot of people they will walk and they'll look over and they'll take the long route. They go behind the bushes on the other side of the road in front of RJE.
Yeah, because we would cut through the wreck. I would not walk past that house. That's funny, man. What were them dogs' names, man?
So Damien was my favorite. He was definitely the one that he'll go up under your legs and you get to ride him like a little horse. He would be the one that we'll take the popsicles to and everything. Smokey was the other one. He was definitely like the Mufasa. He was the big man. Then we had one named Erica, and then Roscoe was the other. Like that was the main 4. And we had one that was really tall, big guy. His name was Magic. And he can jump on the fence and put his paws just like this and look at you. But we ended up giving him to one of my uncles.
Okay. So how was it growing up in Stark? What is your memory of growing up in Stark?
So my childhood, I enjoyed it. It's like I was friends with everyone, especially from living in Stark and Lottie. I made friends with a lot of different people. Bradford County is small, but we got these, little areas across the creek, Reno, Hilltop, what you call the Lottie boys in Peaksville. I was a kid that got along with everybody. We used to go to the rec a lot and play ball, go RJE, play ball during different tournaments. Kids would come to our house, we pull the basketball goal out, and we play right there on the road, side of the road, or go to RJE. Playing softball, we go out there in the fields and we'll play flag football or tackle football, especially when it started to rain. So definitely stay active as a kid. Mom and Dad didn't let us go certain parts when we were on our bikes, but we enjoyed ourselves, had fun, and definitely stayed outside playing with our dogs.
Now, your mom, I always remember your mom because she used to make the hammer pans.
Yeah, so
she had everybody in Stark with hammer pans.
I'm telling you, I have like so many classmates. They come to my mom with hammer pans. My mom made people bridal dresses, clothes, uniforms, anything, man. In second grade, I made my own little outfit, a red outfit, shorts and a shirt, and had trains on it.
You made it?
Yeah, she taught me how to sew, man.
Okay.
So even now, I know how to sew. I don't do it that often. But she sewing everything, and everybody had those hammer pants. And one day, some girl decided to pick up my brother at pre-K, Miss Eula, New Beginners, I believe the name of it. And I was like, you know what, you want to pick up my brother by his MC hammer pants? So I was like, okay, here come big brother. So my mom knew about it. She would try to take care of the situation. My brother messed around and pointed to the little girl. So I walked by and I pushed out the wagon, man. It was, I said, Mama got on to it. I was like, man, that's my brother. You talking about, I hammer pants. So that used to be the thing, man.
Yeah. That's funny, man. That's good because I see you and your brother still close.
Yeah, and as kids, we really didn't have a real close bond as like a friendship thing. Now we're brothers, and I'm the only one that's gonna pick up my brother. Anybody else, it's a problem. But we didn't have too many things like in common, like we really wanted to do together. It was more. I had a cousin, James Bass. He's more like a brother. So we was into basketball, trading basketball cards, football, and those different things. But my brother, we was included. It was just a little different. As we got older, it was more now. Like every Sunday, we play volleyball together. We both like to go bowling. We play spades all the time. It's like a family tradition. We play spades all the time. So now we now have more of a what I would call a brother bond. I think it's more stronger now than it was as we were kids.
Oh, okay. So when did you have a love of finding out that you wanted to grow and be a teacher or get this mentor thing going? When did you develop that? Okay,
so from the beginning, I never wanted to be a teacher. Never thought I would be a teacher. I always wanted to be a veterinarian. Like I said before, I had pets, all kind of pets. I made ants my pets. I had ant farms, roly-polies, moths, beetles. I have so many things. I had pet rabbits, ferrets, chinchillas, pet goats, snakes, birds, iguanas, hamsters, gerbils. Man, I had it all. Back in third grade, I had hamsters that I would bring to school and sell hamsters because my mom bought me one hamster. Her name was Angel, but she was pregnant. We got it from Gator 2 Farm Supply in town. Man, that hamster had babies. The baby had babies. Man, I had pots and pans and buckets, man, with hamsters all over the place. I'm like, I got to get rid of these hamsters. So I'm taking them to school. Y'all, hey, $5 for a hamster, $3, man. I'm trying to get rid of these hamsters. So I was always into animals, man. And so as I got a little older, I think around the age of 14, I was in a little workers program that had in Bradford County. I can't remember the name of the program, but I was able to get into it, and I started shadowing Dr. Saylor here in town. And then at the age, I believe at 15 was my first job working with him. And at the time I was also working with that program. I was working here at a school, Southside, here in Stark. And I was doing custodial work with my grandma. So I would come and she'll let me do my homework first, and then we're just working, and then days, and this was when I didn't have basketball. So after that, because I played sports, but I would work. I love, man, that's just me. I love the work, and I think my parents and my grandparents instilled that in me. But anyway, so I thought I was going to be a vet. So I worked for Dr. Saylor, I think 17 years. I've been working here for a while, and I thought vet is what I wanted to do.
Now he's a veterinarian?
Yeah, he's a veterinarian, and he still works here in town in Stark. But working for him, the things that I saw, like what veterinarians do, I was like, I don't think that's me. And I didn't like to go to school. When I say school, like college, I'm like, man, I love school because I was into sports and had my friends, I just wasn't like, I want school. So I'm like, man, 8 years of college, and Dr. Saylor got to do all this work on these animals, and when they die, he got to explain all this stuff to the people. It's like these people's kids. And I'm like, I don't want the stress of dealing with that. I just love taking care of the animals. So I was like, nah. So I left that alone. But all my jobs, other than working like custodial and at the vet, it was always some type of after school program, where it's either before school, after school, and then summer camps. At this particular one, I was working at it's a church in Gainesville. I can't remember the name, but Esther Kelly and we worked there. She was the director, and I was her assistant. And we went into schools picking out the kids that were struggling. They could be behavior problems or failing classes. Don't don't have parent, maybe staying with just a grandparent. Mom may be, in prison, dad may be in prison. So there was something going on with these children that we chose to put in the program. It didn't cost them anything. It was different grants, and the community was giving money, and I believe the church itself was giving money for these kids. But anyways, working with those kids, the kids was becoming, getting on grade level. They was passing their classes because studying came first. Playtime, you earn your playtime if you're doing your studying. But there were some volunteers that came from UF that would come and get volunteer hours. Mm-hmm. And it was this elderly lady. I say elderly because she was older than I was. And she, talking to her, she told me she was from Africa. And just in general talking, she said, son, you should look in becoming a teacher. I smiled. I was like, no, ma'am. I said, I don't want to teach. No way. But after that, though, I always thought about it. And I started thinking, most of my jobs have always been with kids, mm-hmm. helping kids. And she told me, she said, son, that's what you're doing here. You're teaching these kids. Mm. You taking kids that are failing, working with them and putting them at level or beyond, grade level by the time it's time for the end of the school year. And that resonated with me. So when after I finished Santa Fe, I was working at Winn-Dixie Warehouse. And then I'm like, I'm gonna put in to go to school. I'm gonna put in certain schools, and then got accepted in Jacksonville University. So I was at the warehouse for about 6 months. I'm like, man, I never quit a job before. I always stay and ride it out. But I was like, I got to go to school, and I couldn't work it around my schedule. So after that, I got accepted at Jacksonville University in their 5-year master's program for elementary ed. And from there, I became a teacher. And then in April 2015, I took a position here at the school in Southside at Stark. And before then, I subbed at Southside. Mm-hmm. And the only thing I did before at Southside was custodial work. Mm-hmm. But after that, Miss Mary Coleman, she knew me and watched the things I do. And I work with her at the YMCA after-school programs at the school. She's like, you need to come sub for me. So I subbed. And Bill McCray, when I was at Santa Fe, before I got to Jackson University, he was like, I need you to come work with this one kid. I need you, in the behavior unit. And I worked with him, and I learned so much, working with Miss Ronnie Spangler, and working with those type of kids. It was in the behavior unit, but, it was a great experience. So
it sounded like to me you was exposed to a lot.
Yeah, I was.
Because when you back up, you tell me that you was connected with a veterinarian.
Yes.
How'd that happen? Because, that's something, almost unheard of. And how important do you think exposure is?
So, connection because my dad's Rottweilers. Mm-hmm. My dad took his dogs to town and country. Okay. And my dad knew I'm into animals, so he said, you need to go talk with Dr. Saylor. So I talked with Dr. Saylor. You need to shadow him. And I used to go up there and just watch the things that he do.
So you just asked him?
Just asked. And Dr. Saylor, my dad told me to go talk to him. And I talked, and he opened the doors for me. And that's why I stuck with Dr. Saylor for so long. Even, I'm telling you, weekend jobs. Dr. Saylor would let me work on the weekend when I was going to school and doing different things. So it was definitely, that exposure is great because I would never knew about what veterinarians do. What if I just say I want to be a veterinarian as a kid because I know that's just something that do with animals. Mm-hmm. And without that exposure itself, maybe I went to college. I probably would have dropped out of college because I would have been deep into something that I really didn't want to do. So I was very grateful and thankful for that, but I learned a lot from Dr. Saylor. Like I said, I got dogs of my own. I learned a lot from him. And that's with the mentoring program, giving that exposure, showing them different things. I think that's very important. And if you don't have it as a kid, you're sheltered to, especially if you're in a small community, you may think what mom and dad do, or if you don't have mom and dad, grandma, whoever, you may think that's the only thing that you can do. Mm-hmm.
Was there any kids that you just remember that was a success story?
But the boys in the mentoring program, they needed some help behavior wise. Then when mom came to me and told me at the end of the year, she said, I'm so grateful of this program because these boys turned around. She said, as a mom, I don't have that time to take them all these different places. you showed them how important it is to work together to help people. She said at home they would do things like chores was like something they wanted to do. They wanted to be respectful now to different people, so it kind of changed their lives. And to me, that gives me the motivation to keep doing what I'm doing.
Mm-hmm. And I remember you. I'm a little older than you are, but
Yeah.
I always remembered you, and you was just always respectful. Where do you think you get that from? Like, who were some influences that? Well, who did you look up to?
Gotcha. So number one, that mom and my dad,
Mm-hmm.
and my grandma, Dorothy Maddox. That's you have to respect it. They demanded respect. You, whatever went at home, even if we get in trouble at home, you still better make sure you respect more than anything outside of home. You respect everyone. Your elders, especially the elders. It's yes ma'am, no ma'am, yes sir, no sir, please, thank you. My grandma told me one thing that resonates with me still today. When someone gives you something, you don't turn them down. And that works a lot with me. Like give the kids. A kid may give you a drawing that you don't like, you don't turn it down. Mm-hmm. They may give you a piece of candy that you can't eat, you don't turn it down. My grandma told me, if you turn people down, one day someone may look back at that and notice you always turn things down, and they might want to bless you one day with something grand. But that thought, oh, he always turned down the little things, so I might not need to give him, this blessing. So definitely my parents and my grandparents, and even a lot of my aunts and my uncles. And I think the family in general, I have a lot of older family members from my like great aunts. Every time we're around, they make you respect, make you say please and thank you for things.
Now you are. I don't want to jump the gun, but I just had those thoughts and I wanted to touch base with those. So you talking about all of the schooling that you didn't want to do. Then you went to a 5-year program at JU.
Yes, sir.
What was that experience?
So getting into JU, now number one, I love my college experience at JU. It was very personal. When I say personal, the professors cared. When I wasn't in class, my professor would call me on my cell phone. They would ask my classmates that were there, and we all shared information. And everyone had their emails and cell phones, so we kind of kept up with each other. But going through the program itself, it was tough, and it was really tough on me. I was a grown man. So that means as a grown man, I had bills to pay. I had insurance, I had phone bills, and all these different things. And going to drive, I was driving to Jacksonville University, and I had pets, so I was still taking care of pets and all these things. So once you get into the graduate part, like I'm doing full-time interns, so a lot of things I can't work. So there were times where, okay, now I have to do a little tutoring. Dr. Saylor was helping me out. Whatever hours I can come, I was still going to the veterinarian, doing little jobs here and there, trying to do what I can do to maintain, but stuck it out because I know education is important. To move forward, to try to do great things, you need the knowledge, you need the education. So it was hard, it was tough, but I made it through. I definitely had to pray a lot. Had to pray a lot. And at one point of my education, I almost gave up.
Wow.
I did. Very stressful. Bills were due. I started getting sick, and I think I was stressing myself out. I was getting 4 hours was like my average of sleep.
Wow.
Staying up late, studying, trying to make sure things are done. And just one day I was at the college, at the administration building, sitting in the window. We had like big giant ledges, so like it was no space you can like lay and sit in. So I was sitting there, man, and I didn't go home. I was just sitting there, and then all of a sudden one of my colleagues walked by, and we sat and had a talk. And in that conversation, it wasn't nothing that she really said, but when I left her, she went and told my professor. Then my professors reached out to me, and that, to me, that was very important. Any other college, especially big colleges, I don't think a professor is going to come and reach out to you. Not saying that they won't. I just feel at big, giant colleges with so many numbers, because I know how it is in general in education. You have so many people, it's like sometimes you're just a number. But, they reached out, and then my class reached out to me, and then I pulled it through. I was like, okay, I guess I need to finish it. So just having that support, not just support at home, but other people, they saw it was important and something that was in me that I could give to the kids, that I should finish this and not give up.
Man, that's an accomplishment.
Yeah, man.
I applaud you, man.
Appreciate it.
All right, not only you are an educator, but you're a black male educator.
Yes.
Do you remember seeing that growing up, and did you even pay attention to it, or did it even matter to you?
So the only black educator male that I can remember as a kid, I had Mr. Johnson, going to Lottie Community School. I had him as an English teacher.
I never heard that name before.
Yeah, Mr. Jeremiah Johnson.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
He was a teacher?
Yeah. Yeah.
I did not know that.
He was a teacher, and the thing I like about him, very old school. I used to keep that paddle in the room, and he used to tell us, like, I know your mom and your dad. You better make sure you get yourself together. And so he knew education was important. So he was hard on us, like as if he was our parent.
Mm-hmm.
You know, making us get our education. Now they had some other black educators. Odessa Hamilton, my aunt, she was my second grade teacher. Miss Robertson, can't remember which grade, but I had her at the middle school for math class, and I believe it might have been seventh grade. And then I have some educators and other educators in the family, but at the time my aunt Hamilton was the only one that I knew as a teacher. But I think it was very important.
I have to apologize to a couple of teachers because I was the opposite of you. I was the opposite of you. And Ms. Robinson, man, I don't even want to incriminate myself, but I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Now, I remember Mr. Austin at Start. You remember him? I know you probably know him personally, Ronnie Austin.
Okay, yes.
So
he
was one of my teachers in elementary, and I want to say he was my second or third grade teacher, Miss Boswell.
Yes,
I
okay.
still mess with her because she had to leave so in the middle of the year, so she wasn't my teacher for the full year, and I still
Gotcha.
mess with her about that. So that's just a little trip down memory lane. So bring us up to getting out of JU.
Okay, so after JU and my very last part of my internship, I came and Mr. Williams, he was the principal at Southside Elementary School, and he reached out to me. He said, I got a full-time sub position. I need you, if you'll fill in for me. I said, okay, I can do that. So I was working at Southside, filling in, and he kept telling me, I need you to take this. Won't you take this position once you graduate and keep it? I was like, I don't know, Mr. Williams. There's a lot of stuff I got to think about. Coming out of grad school, I got bills to pay. I got to make sure the amount of money that I'm getting is going to help me continue to pay my bills, and not this extra bill, that's attached to me. Then I started thinking about those things and thinking, I'm like, okay, but I'll be home. I have some people around me that I know that help. I can reach out to. But I came to him. I said, Mr. Williams, I was like, okay, can I have this one classroom in 5th grade? I say this is a teacher that was in that class. I liked his teaching style, and it was a math class too. So I was like, if I can get that classroom, and I said, but one other thing, could I start a mentoring program at the school? And he said yes. I said, okay, let me get back with you. And within a week, I started thinking about it. Then I came back to him. I said, yeah, I'll take the position. So that first year, I didn't start it just yet. I was trying to plan, how I'm gonna get this thing together. I never started a mentoring program by myself. I worked in different programs. So I wanted to start this program. So I'm trying to reach out to other people on campus. And then Miss Jordan Jones, she always wanted to start the same similar thing, but wanted to do something with ladies. So I went to her and I asked, I was like, I'm ready to start a mentoring program. Would you join me? She was like, yes. And from there, we went to planning, and it grew from there. We started 12 Guys in Bow Ties, 12 Girls in Pearls, of our own money. We putting things together. We come up with the idea, and we just build and build and build. Every year, we critique ourselves, and it grown from there. There's just us at the beginning, but others. There were other teachers that were involved. They would come in and help out.
Right. What has been some of the most memorable milestones for your program?
So from us just starting, it would just been 2 people, and then more teachers saw the things that we're doing. When I reach out to certain people, and I wouldn't reach out just everyone because I want to make sure that they definitely have the heart for kids, especially the type of kids that I was taking in, because it wasn't always your child that you want, your favorite, or the teacher's pet. I was going after some of the kids that are already the model kid, and then I want the one that's in trouble all the time. And then I want the one that's been picked on all the time. So it's like we're gonna need some help. So as it was growing, and one of the greatest things that shocked me the most, it was, some people in the community would reach out to me and say they wanted to help with the program. And Cheryl Canova was a big help from my start. She would reach out and say, I'm here to help you, do whatever you need. And then more and more people started getting involved, like until this day. And then hearing the stories from the kids, when we go to the parades, all the kids, man, they go crazy and see me, and they know, not from just being a teacher, that mentor. So when I go see them at the football games or the basketball games, and to see them, man, like light up and just happy to see me there, because they would ask me. And sometimes I just pop up, but it's like they want me there, so I'm going to be that for them, because I told them from day one, I'll be that big brother if I can. I can be that missing father if I can. I can be that big cousin, whatever you need me to be, but you just have to let me know. And even though in my busy schedule, I would try to do those things for those kids, because when I hear the stories later on, when I go talk to some of my alumni, they tell me how it changed their lives. The parents tell me this is such a great program. When I'm reaching out to the community about different things, they back me and say, this is a great program because now my daughter is doing these things. And it came from 12. They watched being molded from there until now. So those, I would say, the greatest success, just hearing the parents and the students say that how much it's helping them.
That's good. Where are some areas that you can get some help, or maybe you need some extra oomph with? Like maybe if somebody hear this, maybe they say, hey, I can help with that.
Yeah, I'm definitely always looking for dedicated mentors, people that has that drive to get to a child. So we're definitely now in the planning stage of getting this year started back up. Due to COVID, things slowed down and different transitioning. So anything trying to help with that. I'm definitely now looking for Chromebooks anyway, so I can reach them. Teaching them different things with technology. Any company, for an example, if I start come in and we teach them about financial. Santa Fe has helped us out by taking us to see the zoo and have those people talk to them and doing like a career development with the kids. The Women's Center in Bradford has taken on the table etiquette part. So that was something that, for example, like how the community reach out. I was teaching table etiquette. Then my mentors that was helping, we was doing that in-house. And then was like, okay, parents would cook for us. And then we did a mock thing. That we did at one of the churches, and Bill McCrae helped us get the opening for that. And Miss McCrae, she was one of my mentors, and so we was doing that. And now the women's club say, well, we'll do that for you. So we still do the table etiquette, and then we take them to the Alhambra, where it's like a musical show they get to watch, but they get the opportunity to order from a menu. You have to dress nice. You have to, all this different silverware. Is on the table, so they kind of give them a real life experience. Because as a kid, I never knew what the Alhambra was. I never knew why to eat with this fork and that fork. I just needed to get it put in my mouth.
I don't even know what a Alhambra is, but I'm just saying.
Yeah, so it's and look, when I first someone told me that, I'm like, Alhambra. I'm like, what's that? So it's like a show, but it's done like musical. Okay. So they're putting on the show, but everyone's dressed nicely at the tables, and you order from menu. You got your entree, your appetizers to desserts. So the kids get that whole feel of ordering from a menu and different things.
Man, that's
so cool. It's a very nice experience for me, especially for the first time I've ever been there, and then for the kids. But
how did the kids react to it?
They was amazed when they first got in. Everybody's eyes was big, and my first time was like, this is pretty neat. It was long. But they enjoyed it. No kid was bored. No kid got sleepy. They was all into it. And the very first thing that shocked me, I didn't tell them to use any table etiquette. I don't talk about that before the show. I bring them in, and man, those kids with the chicken had the fork and the knife trying to cut it. The kids, it was hard for them to cut it. They couldn't get it. They was trying, all of them. They was looking, and I'm walking around, and they take their napkins. They put the napkins in their laps. Man, it was so nice to see. So after a while, I saw the struggle with the chicken. I'm like, okay, y'all doing great. You doing what I taught you. Go ahead and use your hands so we can get this meat, so we can eat. It's like, oh, thank you, Mr. Hamilton. So I mean, it's just man seeing those things. But if people in the community have any idea where we can serve, where we can as a group come and do something for their company, or having an idea that maybe the kids need to learn this, maybe they can open up. It can be a sawmill. Let's teach them about this. Any of that, anything that they think would be extra knowledge to the kids. I'm open for anything. I'm just trying to pour into the kids, give them the experiences, to build their confidence that they can do these different things, and try to make them an asset to the community.
Right.
You know, I can do this, I can do that. I see all these different things. Bradford's so small and so it's like secluded. They don't know about all these different things that we have in the community. So just venturing out and seeing those things is most important.
Now, I'm sure COVID has put a lot of stops on a lot of stuff. But do you guys, are you willing to like travel to other counties out of town, or how does that work?
So that's the plan. I've cut back on how much traveling we're going to do. But two major important community services that we do, I believe is worth going if we're going to, but still keeping them safe, using social distancing, wearing the mask. And we wear gloves and all that stuff anyways when we work. But going to Jacksonville University, they have Charter Day, and it's in April. Usually around April 12th, around that date. They shut down the whole campus, and everybody from different, you may be business, you may be education, they go and do different community services out in the community. So I want to pull my kids to show them we're not just serving our community, we're going to go serve another community. And you also get to see, now you see adults serving, you see college kids, and within that, most of the time we go, it's just the School of Ed that we go with, but then there was a time where the soccer team was with the School of Ed, so they did a soccer clinic for us. So
that's cool.
And they got to talk to students like from other parts of the country. Like they come to JU just to get their education, but they come on a soccer scholarship. So they're from different places, so they get to meet different people. That's so important to me. So we definitely plan to still do, if JU's going to have their charter day, still want to go with them because I get to bring them back to the campus. So, and I give them a tour of the campus that I was there, kind of tell them the stories about, things that I've done and was involved with. And then they get to see the campus. They feed them on campus and all those things. And then Santa Fe College, also I would like to continue with that. They gave us a tour of the college. We went to the museum that they have. They took us the planetarium. I believe.
Yeah, my kids love
yes,
planetarium.
Man, that was so nice. And they fed us lunch. We did a community service there. We made cards for the Children's Hospital. They brought in a few college students, I think about 5 or 6, but the kids got to talk to those college students. They talked about what their experience was as a college student and what they went through to become a college student and why they want to become a student. And that's so important, the connection between that, and then the career day thing. It was nice, just like job fair, how they do adults. And at the college, they did it just like that for the kids. And then one major thing that I use from that is, forget the website, I have it with me, but I can't remember it. But they log onto this website and I create them account. And on the account, you have to go put these different categories, like what's most important to you in your job, or do you like a job where you have to have a lot of praise, you rate that from 1 to 5. So all these different categories, and once the kids rate how they feel, they get a list of jobs that say, okay, these types of jobs may work for you. So they go and look. I'm like, oh, I never thought about being this. Wow. Or I never heard what this job is. Yeah. I'm interested. Go look. When you click on that job, it tells you how much money that kid can make. It tells you how much college you need, you need for this job. And you can check that job out in Florida, New York, Chicago, so it gives them the big different ranges. And also what the salary range for 10 years ago. Is it going up or going down? So it gives them that big knowledge now. Oh, I don't have to do what my mom does just because I can do this. Oh, because it relates to me now. I have a reason to choose this job. So I think it's so important.
Man, that's good, and it's good. Sound like a good program to have in place.
Yes.
So, what's the most eye-opening thing that you've seen so far?
Number one for me, I think, because at the end of the year, it always gives me the motivation to continue to do what I'm doing because I see the change in the kids. It is very time consuming. I get burned out. I'm tired because I do so many different things, and I go out my way for these kids, especially if you're dealing with a kid that has maybe a social, emotional issues or dealing with a behavior that you're trying to change. It's hard. I don't see them every day. You know, I'm with you once a week during our meetings that we have, and then community service. But I still go to these different events. So to see at the end of it, like this child change, that to me is the greatest thing ever. You get one. We did what we need to do for the year.
Right.
And to see these kids become leaders. So that's what it's about. I want them to be the next leaders in the community. That's why I have them out there working the community service. But to see kids want to strive to be a leader, because you have to do certain things to become a leader in the program. And they look for it, the color of their bow tie to change, because we give different bow ties when we become a leader. We give you more responsibilities as a leader. And the girls with the pearls, your pearls change once you become up. So we treat you differently. And now you get to shine more. And I like to see that when they thrive, they become that leader. It's like they fighting to be great.
That's awesome. So where do you see yourself going from here?
So from here with the program, I wanted to make the program larger than what it is. I wish I can have this in every elementary school, especially here in Bradford County. And then one day, hopefully, I can get in any elementary school that don't have a mentoring program. Most of the times, the mentoring programs are at the middle school level and high school. But I know, and a lot of teachers that I talk to, a lot of adults that I talk to, the middle school stage was like the roughest stage to go through. I know it was, in my upbringing, at the middle school, I saw the most fights. You all the different things, all the separate groups, you know. Some people get along, but it's like you're trying to figure out who you are. You know, your body's going through these different changes. And if you didn't have a positive bond, it's easy to fall off with something that's bad. So it's easy to get into trouble.
Right.
So if you already got a strong group that's in trouble, I'm going to follow this group. Or peer pressure, pull you in. So I wanted to start at the elementary level, try to get their heads on right before you get into the atmosphere of, you know, going through puberty and trying to figure out who you are. But when you see these groups, make sure you try to get the right group, or maybe you might want to start your own positive group. So I want to make it a larger thing. For me, I know one day I'm gonna come out the classroom. I have to do something greater. I feel it. So one day, my plan is to go beyond this teaching in the classroom. I don't know what that is yet. Just whatever God has in store for me, the doors are open. I'm just gonna keep praying and continue to move forward.
Man, that's all right. I know you're gonna do it. Yeah. I just know you're gonna do it.
And this year I got into a program, Leadership Florida, and 100% still don't know what I got myself into. But from what I've heard and the people that I've met, man, it's a network full of positive people, people that are so involved in what they're doing in the community or at their job, always trying to help people out. So these network connections that I'm building, I've got to talk to some great people. So that's now open in my mind, like, oh, I can probably do this. I'm talking to this person, oh, they're helping me out, telling me you got this route and that route. So, and that's something I teach my kids in the mentor program, networking. And I'm like, oh man, I'm getting an opportunity myself, you know, you know, network, and it's coming like a live picture for me. I try to give the kids what's been taught to me, and then I try to give them what experiences that I've been through. So now I'm getting that greater experience of networking and being something greater than what I am. So I'm hoping to get even more out of that. I don't know where it's going to take me, but I'm ready for the work that starts in January with the Leadership Florida program.
That's good, man. That's good. Well, once again, man, I congratulate you. I applaud you, and I thank you for stopping by here and giving me this inspiration, because it's needed, and
yes, sir.
And it's so important to give back to the kids, because they are the future.
Yeah, they are.
And the future coming quicker and quicker.
That's right. Yes, sir.
So
yes,
if there's anything else on your mind that you want to just say, anything that you want to just put out there, any words of encouragement, anything?
Yeah, just, for anyone, I mean, adults to kids, you have to set goals. You have to have goal after goal after goal, dream after dream after dream, because when plan A don't work, you got to go with plan B. If you never set a goal or a dream, you have nothing to look forward to, and you can become stagnant. If you don't get yourself involved in things, you don't feel that you're a part of something, so you don't have nothing. So if I get into trouble, I have nothing to lose. But when you become part of something, network, now you're attached to something, now you have something to look great for. You have someone to help out. But you have to definitely build yourself and have a goal, have a dream, and put yourself around people that are positive. Learn how to save. Saving is like one of the hardest things ever to do. It's easy to spend every dollar you got. It's easy to waste it, but I've definitely learned saving is one of the hardest things to do, but it's the most benefiting. That's how you get ahead, because things are going to happen. It's not if, when. It's going to always come. It's easy to get in trouble. It's hard to stay out of trouble. It's everything that's good is the hardest things to accomplish. For example, if I want to better myself and stay positive, if you look out in the world, you'll see more. It seems like it's more wrongdoing than right. Yeah, because it's harder to be good and stay perfect. I want $1 million. Okay, you think someone's just going to hand that to me? You got to do a lot of work to get that $1 million. I want this nice sports car. It's going to cost you a lot of work. So you have to always keep the mindset, be respectful to all people. You never know who's watching. You never know who's willing to give you that extra hand. Things have happened to me from just my giving and willing to give. God has used other people to bless me. So yes, I'm surprised at things that are happening to me, but at the same time, I'm like, that's just God showing me what he said he would do. He's using other people to bless me. So I would say definitely just keep moving forward. Have a dream and reach out to someone when you're struggling. Don't do it alone.
Good. Man, so how can people support 12 guys and 12 girls? How can they support you?
Yeah, I mean, any donations, if monetary wise, any money support help, because we do use different curriculums. We buy things, for example, equipment for yard work. We do a lot of yard work, t-shirts, gloves, hat that we supply for the kids. This year we're definitely gonna have to use masks. Any avenues that I can get Chromebooks from, anything that can better these kids. We use rakes, shovels, we paracords. We use that for the military. We make bracelets for them. Anything. I mean, even if you have an avenue that I can connect with someone, a business that willing to bring in the kids and maybe give them a experience, a walkthrough they can do just to see what that job is about. So any support, just reach out if you're willing to help.
All right, man. One more time, give me your contact information.
Email is edrickhamilton@gmail.com.
You have a Facebook?
Yeah, also I have a Facebook that's under Edrick Hamilton, but you can also check out our 12 Guys in Pearls, 12 Guys in Bow Ties and 12 Girls in Pearls website on Facebook as well. It has you can go to the multiple albums that we have. It'll show you all different things that we do have done throughout the years, different community services and things that we've done in the program.
All right, man. I think that's it, man.
All right, I appreciate you.
And once again, I appreciate you. I applaud you. And I wish you success in every path that you take.
Thank you, sir.
All right, we'll talk with you later.
All right, thank you. Hi, my name is Edrick Hamilton, and I'm the founder of 12 Guys in Bow Ties. You can reach us at 12gibt.12gip@gmail.com, and this has been Convos with Cruger.